Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another live stream. I hope you're all doing well. If you're here with me live today, it's the King's birthday, apparently, or the official monarch birthday. So we're supposed to be celebrating, I guess, but I don't really care. I wonder if the King shoots film that could be relevant, maybe, because the Queen apparently shot with a Leica sometimes. Or there's those famous photos of her, but I don't know about this King character. Excuse me. Hey, Anthony, Lucian. Let's get the chat up. Yeah, what's everyone up to? Well, if you're here in Melbourne, here in Australia, doing a long weekend, do you have any plans? What's everyone been shooting lately? What do you have loaded in your film cameras? I saw your video, man, on the Leica Q3. That was actually pretty good. Not that I'm expecting it to not be good, but I actually enjoyed watching the POV with the digital, which I normally wouldn't watch as much as film POVs, but it does look like a nice camera. But yeah, at the moment, I haven't been shooting as much. I've just been busy with work related photography and editing a wedding and doing some other stuff. But I did load a roll of film in the Leica recently in the MA, and it was this film that was actually given to me by Darren. So Darren, if you probably watched the channel, you might have heard me mention him a few times. He's a great guy. I met him through the channel, showed up to some of the Discord meetings, and he was the one who let me borrow the Leica M6 for the Leica M6 review video that I did. So big thanks to him again for that. Check out that video where I've linked his page if you want to check it out. And he often joins these live streams. I don't know if he'll be on, but he gave me these rolls of film. So these two and a couple of others from Reflex Lab. So these are essentially just the Kodak Vision cinema films repackaged by Reflex Lab. And the one I loaded in the Leica is this repackaged Kodak Double X. I've never shot Kodak Eastman Double X before. I've always wanted to try it. I love the contrasty look that you seem to get out of this film. So I've popped it in the Leica MA. I've only taken a few shots around the house, and I'm just kind of roughly metering at 200, 250 or whatever. So keen to see how that goes. And then, yeah, this other one's 400D, and there's some others as well, but I haven't actually shot the Remjet removed version of 250D, such as Cinestill Dynamic, whatever it's called, 400, and so on. Also, got another little point and shoot camera that I've yet to test out. It's a snappy, I don't know what this is called, Canon Snappy Easy with a 3.8 lens and manual ISO selection. So yeah, that could be interesting. But I don't know, I don't shoot as much point and shoot stuff because film is getting more expensive and you tend to miss more shots with point and shoots. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Again, let me know what you've been up to. What have you been shooting? Have you been working on any photo series? Are you shooting less and less film still? I know I ask this every time, but as prices go up and availability goes down, I'm always curious what the sentiment is with people shooting film. Hey. It's actually pretty good, yeah. Do I know about Jason Eskenazi's work? Maybe. That sounds really familiar. Like I've either seen it in something, on a video maybe, or heard of it. So I might be familiar. But yeah, the purpose of this video was just a casual catch up, just a channel update kind of thing, because it's been a while since I've done one. I like to do one every now and then just to keep you guys updated, whether you're watching this right now live or you choose to watch this later. And I know this will be a little bit slower if you're watching this later, but I thought I would just give an update on what's been going on with the channel and what's coming up going forward. So if you've been watching, the frequency of uploads has probably gone up a little bit in the last year, and that's when I started to kind of take things a little bit more seriously, I guess, and try and give this a shot, as not necessarily going full time with YouTube, but giving it a good chunk of time and trying to at least get some return on that time investment by trying to find more sponsorships and monetize a channel in some way or another, because a lot of time does go into making videos. Anyone who's produced YouTube stuff would know. And yeah, I was never too keen on a lot of sponsors that would approach me, because sometimes it was something that I wasn't actually interested in or hadn't used. So I started to reach out to sponsors I wanted to work with in order to solve that problem. And that's when you start to see things like Earth, which was a company that I reached out to and said, hey, you're an Aussie company that I actually enjoy using your products, and I've never seen you do a YouTube sponsorship. Do you want to collaborate? And they did. They did one. They're still fairly new to this thing, so I'm not sure when the next one will be, if and when it'll be. But they were great to work with. And then there was Pixpa, the service I had been using already for a while for website and client galleries for delivering photos and all that. And I also, again, reached out to them and said, hey, I use your stuff. I see all these Squarespace ads. You guys don't seem to do any YouTube sponsorships. Do you want to collaborate on something? And they have actually done a few since then, and I have a good working relationship with them. And yeah, other small like collaborations, even if they're not monetized, like trying out the Perfo film in exchange for a couple of roles, and just doing fun stuff like that I actually have a genuine interest in. And that's how I want to try and keep it. So I want to be able to do little sponsorships and things like that, but keep it authentic and make it more sustainable to produce videos. So if you watched the last video on the channel, that was the Sunny 16. Sorry if the mic's a bit loud. Let me know if anyone's watching and audio or video is bad. Just let me know, by the way. Yeah, that one was the Sunny 16 metering tutorial, something I had been wanting to do for a while. I tested the waters with my tips for metering video and asked the question in that video, would you like to see a more in-depth instructional type of video on metering by eye? A lot of people commented, yes, would love to see that. And it seems to be a point of confusion for a lot of shooters. So I produced that video. Again, it takes a lot of time, but at least having had Pixpa sponsor the video, that gives it a little bit of kind of return on that time, I guess. But the most important thing is, regardless of that, I enjoy making those videos. I enjoy producing something that ends up being helpful to people, as with some of the best performing videos on the channel anyway, because I think that is what works really well on YouTube. Have I shot Amber D400? I haven't, but it sounds like it's another variation of Kodak Vision. Hey Junhan, how's it going, man? Been shooting less film, yeah, because you're going on your trip, so it makes sense. Oh yeah. Hey. Yeah, the whole scanner thing is always a difficulty with traveling. Just try and avoid CT. I've never really had... I know anecdotes don't really count for much with some people, but generally speaking, X-rays aren't too bad with normal speed films, but it's the CTs apparently you want to worry about. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you liked the video. Yeah, like already, I mean, it's not a very high performing type of video, but what I enjoy is that a lot of people who do watch it get something out of it, or comment that maybe it helped them out, or that they could find something useful within that video. So that's the kind of thing that I still want to keep doing on the channel, that I have been doing here and there. And ever since starting it with my friend Nick way back, if you've been watching since, I don't know, it was like 6-7 years ago now, the very first video we spoke about what we wanted to do on the channel, and the things that we listed were, number one, film, stock and camera reviews. Number two, helpful tips, tutorials on different aspects of film photography. 3 was interviews with photographers and other creators or anything to do with film. All those things have been continued to do them. And number 4 was just going out shooting, photo vlogs, and so on. So that is kind of the structure, the foundational, like 4-burner approach to the channel that I have continued to try and maintain. But every now and then might step outside of that with something a little bit different, whether it's like looking at a digital camera and how that compares to the film shooting experience, because I enjoy doing that as well. Excuse me. But Um, yeah, the last interview, for example, was the one I did with Damon, the in-person interview about him shooting flash on the street. I've done some online conversation chats, which were more common over the last few years for reasons you can guess. But I am looking forward to doing more of those in-person documentary style interviews, which I've done a few of now. So I'm actually on the lookout for like the next person. I've got a few people in mind that I definitely want to interview, but I'm not sure who will be next. And I'm always open to your suggestions if you know any good, not necessarily whether they're like good photographers or not, but any notable film shooters or anyone in that field that you think you would love to see an interview with. Shooting a lot less in general. Yeah, fair enough. Non-film approach, budget-wise. 2 rolls a month. That's still pretty generous. Yeah, and with the channel, like with producing to more frequency every week or two is kind of what I aim for, and trying to up that production quality. It does mean spending more time, and it can get a little bit overwhelming. And it's gotten to the point lately where I start to think already about, you know, it could be good to have help in some way or another with production or editing or something. And I'm not really at the point where I could financially justify paying an editor, for example. It would be cool to one day get there. And I'm a pretty like, I like to edit a certain way depending on the video. Not that, you know, I have the best editing skills, but it does have a big effect on the final vision for the video a lot of the time. So it would have to be someone who has that similar vision or know what I would be intending to achieve with certain videos. So yeah, that's another thing that's been on my mind with the channel. But overall, yeah, still continuing to enjoy it. Everything's going well. I've got some upcoming plans I'll get into soon. But before that, for anyone watching, I'm just curious, what would you like to see on the channel? What's something that is something you feel like you would watch, or you think is something that I could or should be doing? Maybe I've already done something similar before, but feel free to leave your suggestions. Even if you're not watching this live, leave a comment on what you would like to see on the channel for 2023 and beyond. What are your thoughts on Ferrari Ortho 50? Oh, the new 400. Yeah, I heard Nico talking about that. It's cool. I'm not a big fan of orthochromatic films. I do like them in certain use cases, but a lot of the time they just look a little bit odd with skin tones and makes it hard to shoot people unless you kind of lean into it and use that intentionally. And you could probably achieve a similar effect by using colored filters, like playing around with blue filters or red filters or whatever. But yeah, I have shot Ilford's Ortho once, and I like the results, good contrast. But yeah, it's nothing I would be excited about because I would rather shoot a normal panchromatic 400 speed film, even though I know it's uncommon to have a high speed ortho film. But it's not that I wouldn't try it. Oh, he shoots film in Hollywood. Yeah, I think I've seen him as part of a documentary. Yeah, because it keeps popping into my mind that I've seen a YouTube video. Sorry, my mouse is playing up with the chat comments, so it's just a little bit annoying. Yeah, let me know what you would like to see if you have any ideas and suggestions for the channel, and yeah, just pop them in the live chat or in the comments. But I'll continue with what I had listed to talk about. So other things that are coming soon, I've spoken a bit about the latest direction, I guess, with the channel, but things that are coming soon. I'm gonna borrow a Leica M3, so it's a camera that I've never used personally. I've played with one, like in my hands, just messed around with it. I've never shot with one, and because it has that great viewfinder for shooting 50mm, it's something I've always wanted to try. Nick actually has one. He's had one forever, and he has not been using it lately. So I said to him, "Hey man, how about I borrow your camera, your M3, for a video?" And I know Junhan's a big fan of Leica M bodies and probably has a fair bit to say about M3s, but I'm gonna use it with my Zeiss Sonar 50 and probably some other lenses, who knows. But I think I'd like to take advantage of that frame line that's designed perfectly for the 50mm, and maybe even play with a 90mm and do some street photography and do it just an overall my perspective kind of review on the M3, because it's a camera I've been interested in trying for a while. So that's going to come up on the channel soon within the next few videos. I haven't actually gotten my hands on it yet, but that's something I'm looking forward to putting out. I'm starting to work on my book. I'm leaning towards it being a book as opposed to kind of a heavier zine. I'm still not sure, but I really want it to be a little bit more solid in the hands and have a little bit more than the average amount of pages in a zine. A book on my black and white street photography from the last few years worth of travel and beyond, but kind of just focusing on black and white, classic kind of street photography with people with multiple subjects, as opposed to the kind of street photography I did in my last zine, which was the sun-dried strip, which was very mostly devoid of people and focused more on color and texture and light, whereas this will be a collection of my work that I've been building up over the years, mainly shooting with Leicas and black and white film. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having some kind of solid news about that, but as of yet, I don't want to put anything out there in terms of dates or expectations, because it's going to be a big learning experience for me to step up from the simplistic, small, magazine style production to something a little bit more solid. June, have I done a home developing tutorial? No, you see, I actually had intended to do one. There's loads online. Channel is concerned that could be a useful resource for longevity. Yeah, that's really a good point. It's something I've actually been debating back and forth, because I actually had planned to do one years ago, and I did kind of a prequel to it, or like with the intention to do the follow-up. And the prequel was similar to my tips video on metering, where I just spoke about why you should develop at home and the advantages of it. And I said in that video, I'll be doing a follow-up on how to develop film. And then I got discouraged by exactly what you're saying, Junhan, in that there were so many other videos that I thought, well, they're doing the job perfectly well. Matt Day, all these other guys had already done a good tutorial on how they develop film, that I thought I kept putting it off and thinking, well, people already have that resource. Will it be that helpful? Should I do this? And I still want to do it. And it's good that you reminded me, because it's something that, yeah, I'm definitely open to still doing, even though you're right, there's so many out there, and both black and white, maybe some motion film. Yeah, like I've touched on those topics and parts of it, like how I remove a remjet, because that's something that can be a curiosity for some people about. They already know how to develop, but they're like, how do you remove a remjet? But then yeah, that's something I'm going to actually jot that down as a reminder, because it is on my list. It's been on my list for years, but I need to think of a unique approach, or just do it anyway, just do it my way, and then put it out there. Because I actually I used to run workshops at the camera store I worked at, Michael's. One of them was about developing black and white film, so I have the know-how to teach that. But yeah, I'm just thinking about the viability of it being a video. And I enjoy doing those kind of structured tutorials, kind of like what people would pay for to go on Skillshare. But from everything I've heard about Skillshare, and I have tried it myself, I did a trial, it's not that much better than YouTube, finding a good video on YouTube. So I prefer to put something out there for free on YouTube, and then give people the option to pay or donate via, like, buy me a coffee, or to click on the sponsor if there is one. And then it just empowers YouTube in that way, without you having to sign up for something like Skillshare. And Skillshare did reach out to me a while back to be a sponsor, and I've yet to say yes to anything like that, because I don't feel a genuine connection. Like, I don't think I'm the kind of person who would join Skillshare in order to watch a few tutorial videos. Maybe Udemy or something where it's free and you kind of just like pay for small one-off videos, but I don't like the membership model of Skillshare at the moment. I know it's great for some people, but yeah, point is, I like doing tutorials, making them free, putting them on YouTube, but they take a lot of work. So I have to pick and choose which ones I can sink the time into. More rants with shoots with Coops. Definitely more of those coming up. Yeah, because now he's actually starting to put some of the videos out on his channel. If you've seen the last video chat we did, it's on his channel. It was a great one, actually. It was about ethics on street photography. So if you've missed that one, check it out. And yeah, he's a great guy. We'll continue to collaborate together, whether it's through the chats online or in-person catch-ups when I go to Perth, or if he comes here. So yeah, that'll come for sure. Maybe side-by-side comparisons of film stocks, taking the same photo or comparing the same film with different settings of one subject. Yeah, that's a good one. I have done something similar before, but there's always room for that. Experiment with the 90mm on the M3, it's really fun. Yeah, I think I will, because I've got the Tele Elmer, and having those larger frame lines will be really cool. And if I go into that mode of shooting with the longer lens, I think having those two would work really well. Yeah, go into that Ernst Haas mode, I guess. That'd be really cool. Put in some slide film and shoot 50, 90mm, do some black and white as well, some color negative. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, the book will come eventually. I don't want to rush it. Will I go through a publisher or DIY? Definitely leaning towards DIY. I don't think I have the budget or capacity in terms of potential sales to afford going with a publisher without making a loss. And I think there's a lot to learn with self-publishing. But again, I'm not confirmed either way. I'm just leaning to that direction. Something I actually speak about a lot with friends or talk to Sarah about is I have this idea or kind of like a little dream of maybe one day opening a publishing company here in Australia, because I think there's a bit of a lack, or having something that focuses specifically on small-time independent photographers and creatives who struggle to, afford to go with big publishers, and have something a little bit more boutique, and initially start off focusing on, film shooters and work like that. But again, I don't know where to start and how hard that would be. I thought one of the stepping stones into that would be to actually curate and resell books from overseas photographers that are hard to buy here, because that's something I had a personal struggle with. So like an itch that I was wishing to scratch kind of situation. And then getting those books from overseas, having a website or something here where I could make those books more accessible, speaking specifically about photo books, making them more accessible to local buyers, local demographics. And then that could evolve potentially into actually helping publish people's books. But then I'd have to learn more about that myself. And that's why I want to try and publish the next project. So I want to approach some printers, look into costs, and try and get that done. Thanks, man. Yeah, these are great suggestions. Thanks, guys. And again, if you're watching this later on, please feel free to leave something in the comments. So what else is coming soon? Like an M3 video, probably going to do a video talking about just something simple like the camera bags that I use. I've got a few different bags I use and I rotate them depending on the situation. So I'm going to do a video on that soon. I've got a trip to New Zealand coming up in about a month now. So that's in mid-July, going with Sarah and meeting some of the family over there. We're going to meet up in New Zealand in Queenstown, do some snowboarding. Not all of us, but Sarah and I will definitely be doing a lot of snowboarding and just enjoying the beautiful sights and time away in Queenstown. I've been there once before. Great place. So looking forward to that. And this time around, I will maybe produce some video content. Last time I went, I didn't do anything video related. I did shoot some film. I took my EOS 3 and point and shoot, shot digital, and I really enjoyed the photography. But this time maybe I can do something for the channel, because I didn't at the time back then. That was still 2016, so it was at like the birth of the channel. But visually, it's such a great place to shoot anything, video, photo, and then if we go on a few little hikes or adventures, it could be cool to produce something there. And yeah, that will hopefully result in something on the channel in August or so. What else? I recently, this is a funny one. I'm almost ready to do a soft launch on some merch that I've been putting up on this service called Spreadshop. If anyone is familiar, it's just one of those kind of like Redbubble or whatever, where you can put your designs up on one of these sites, choose which products you want them to be able to print it on, and then people can order it on demand kind of thing, like t-shirts, hats, mugs. And what actually prompted it initially was that I thought it would be cool to have a mug, with the Pushing Film logo or something on it. and maybe a hat or t-shirt. Because if a lot of time, if I'm wearing a hat, um, in these videos, I could have one with my logo on it or something like that. So that's why. And then I found out about Spreadshop, which they don't charge you a fee to actually join or any ongoing membership fee. Yeah, by the way, it's just like to keep this out of sight when the hair's a bit messy. But yeah, that prompted it, because before that I thought I don't want to actually make a dedicated merch shop where I start it myself and ship it myself, and I'm not interested enough in merch, but I know that it could be fun here and there to have a couple of items, and then for other people who are interested, they can also have the option to look through and get stuff. So I've briefly mentioned it on a live stream before. I started off with just the logo that you see on the channel, the little circular logo that you see on the channel and on Instagram, and a variation of that. And recently I added a third one, which was just a fun idea I had based on, those gym t-shirts. If anyone is a fan of like 70s vintage gym logos, like Gold's Gym and World Gym and Powerhouse and all those variations where they use the same kind of design. Let's see, I'll bring it up on screen here to show you. So I added this design, and then I'm ordering some items. I've got some stuff coming over. I think they're based in the US, so it's shipping from over there. But I've got like a mug. I got one of the t-shirts with a new design and a hat, so I can check out the quality of the items myself, see how they are. I can then be able to show them in live streams and whatever before promoting or making any formal mention of the merch. But it's just something fun. Yeah, basically this old design is usually like some muscular illustrated figure pushing up a barbell or something, and then they'll have the logo like Gold's Gym. I'm sure you guys are familiar if you've seen it, but I have a few of these singlets that I wear to the gym, and I thought, wouldn't it be funny, you have a guy holding Pentax 6.7s, and it's a funny thing. It just works, in my opinion, at least. I know it's pretty stupid to a lot of people and just like what the hell, but I just thought it would be funny because it's, again, I'm trying to do what I think I would like, and then assuming that maybe a few other people out there would think it's funny as well and would appreciate it, because people always joke about the Pentax 6.7 being so heavy that you could use it to bicep curl or whatever. So I took that to the next level and had this design made. I illustrated it myself on some paper, did a really rough sketch, wrote some notes, hired someone through Fiverr to finalize it, took it back, added the text, colored it in and whatever, and came up with this ridiculous idea. So yeah, it's already available. There is a link in the description if you're keen, but I would say wait till I get my samples if you can be bothered, and then I can look a bit more closely at the quality. But I've heard they're good. I know other people that use Spreadshop. But yeah, sorry, you mentioned 35mm camera lens combo for shooting at night. Well, I only really have the Zeiss 35mm f2.8, so I would usually just use that. But if I was shooting digital, I would use my Canon R6 with the 35mm 1.8, which is really great. I did use that in Bangladesh. If you see my vlog there, I mostly focused on the film stuff, but I did shoot a bit of digital as well. And that lens, because it has IS and then the body has IS, it's really nice for nighttime stuff for a 35mm, and it's fairly affordable if you have a Canon R series camera. You tried Skillshare and it wasn't helpful for your needs. Yeah, see, I did the trial and I looked at it, and the videos, to be honest, I thought were mostly equivalent to what you could find on YouTube. Sure, there might have been a little bit more structure, but then I also heard some weird stories about people's experience with Skillshare and how they would get you to do the trial, but then lock you in somehow, or you'd think that you've cancelled your trial, but you end up getting charged. And there was this whole video I watched about it. So it kind of scared me off a little bit, at least for the time being. Speaking of the days back in Michael's, $12 for Natura 1600 and $5 dev only. Those are the days. Yeah, man, that was for years. That ran for a while. I missed that. I have one roll of Natura left. Wouldn't it be cool, actually, if I used that with the M3? With the 90mm or the 50, both. Shot some night stuff, M3. Yeah, good idea, Junhan. I'm going to do that. That roll's been sitting in the fridge forever. But it's meant to be mine and Sarah's. but I'll ask her if she doesn't mind. Could you see some potential in black and white night photography and a Pro Mist filter, or would that be lame? Yeah, there's definitely potential. Like the Pro Mist does soften those highlights, and it is a nice effect. I think the key is to not overdo it and use the really heavy Pro Mist filters. A lot of people use 1/4 or stronger. I have a couple, but I have the 1/8 filters. And I think going like that or even more subtle is the way to go. Unless there's some reason why you really want that strong diffusion effect. But I think if any time you're going to use it, it should be nighttime, artificial lights, and portraits if you want to soften skin. I don't think it's lame. I think you can make it lame sometimes, but it doesn't necessarily need to be so. Raymond, hey, hope everything's going well. Just got back from weekend trip, starting shooting more focus media format project. Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully you'll put out some videos on that, I assume. Bianca, saw Lucian on Saturday at Flinders Station when he was messing around with the mullets and the Q3. Ballistically swerving through and around crowds shooting his Q3. Amazing. Yeah, the golden hour looked great, actually. I was jealous, dude. I was watching a video this morning and thought, man, I wish I was out shooting. Are you going to come, by the way, to the next meetup? I'm going to talk about that soon, actually, about the next coffee and cameras. Sounds like you, yeah. I don't wear hats, I'll buy them. Like, hey, man. Yeah, I was actually speaking about the film you gave me. If you missed the first part of the live stream, I actually loaded the Reflex Lab XX film into the MA, but I've yet to shoot any of the others. I just haven't been shooting much film lately. I've been too busy. But soon. Next week, I'm going to hit the streets again. I haven't shot street for like weeks, for a month probably. The last time we were all out, that might have been one of the last times I officially shot street when I was testing the M6. But yeah, what is next? What was I going to talk about? I spoke about the merch stuff that's almost ready to soft launch. I want to do a few more designs for that. The M3 video, New Zealand's coming up, starting to work on my book. But yeah, the next thing I wanted to mention is going to do another coffee and cameras meetup. It's been a while since the last one. You were there, Darren, and a few others. But if you're on the Discord, you guys already know we're talking about doing it this weekend. So Saturday or Sunday. We haven't decided yet. If you're from Melbourne, you want to come to one of these meetups, you haven't made any of them before, come along. Hopefully the weather's going to be good. If you are on the Discord, just go to the meetups. Here it is. Discord. Yeah. Meetups channel. We're already discussing it. So if you're not on there, join the server. There's a link below in the video description to join Discord server. There's heaps of great, helpful people on there where we chat about stuff. I'm not going to say it's overly active compared to huge Discord servers where there's always someone posting on every single channel at any given time. But we have a really nice, tight-knit community that I enjoy chatting with when I go on there and organizing things like these coffees and camera meetups. So if you're keen, if you're free this weekend, we're going to pray for good weather, pray to the king whose birthday it is, and then we'll have some night and the film shooting gods. We'll do a meetup. So, hey, Mr. Shoots with Croops here. What's the latest, man? What are you working on? I liked your last video, and plus that little comedy bit you did on what your camera says about you. That was good. If anyone is here and hasn't seen Cooper's YouTube short, go and check it out. It's hilarious. Hey, man, can't wait to see more of your drawings. Dude, I should get you to draw because you're actually a proper illustrator. But if you should see my hilarious... You know what I see? It's actually right here. So, my mock-up versus the actual final design. Is it in this book? Yeah, all right, here we go. It's just for fun, just for laughs. Let's check this out. So that's the final design. Can I zoom into this at all? Sorry. Might have to remain that size, but there we go. All right. And here's the mock-up. It's a bit too bright, damn it. It's too bright for the exposure on the white paper. There you go. You can kind of see it. So that's the instructions I gave the guy on Fiverr, and I gave him the reference shirts. I took photos of some of my gym singlets and told him I want him holding 2 Pentax 6.7s, blah blah, this and that, and yeah, here it is. Because I can't do proper drawings for shit, so this will have to do for now. Yeah. But Sailor, if you're interested, man, we could commission something proper, like do a really cool merch design or something. You'll be there, awesome. Group. Next, I'm going. What does your medium format camera say about you? Actually, I saw some people comment that you should do that. If I had more notice, I'd convince the wife to fly for Mel's to the meetup this weekend. Yeah, dude. Well, as if you had more notice, you would have come. Surely you've got other stuff on your plate. But no, you should come down sometime. But yeah, guys, I think that is most of what I had on my little notepad that I'm keep looking off towards now. I know camera's there, but I'm trying to keep track of all these screens and stuff, including this list of things that I had to talk about. But yeah, once again, I'll just remind you in case you missed it, please leave any suggestions for what you would like to see on the channel. And what have you been up to? What have you been shooting? What are your predictions for 2023? What are your thinking, like thought processes about photography, about creativity, about shooting film, about digital? If you don't share it here, jump on the Discord server, join one of the chats there, or post your photos there, or come to the next meetup. See if you can make it. Let's vote on Saturday versus Sunday. I'm going to look at the weather forecast again as we get closer, and we can decide on a day. Hopefully the weather's good. We can have some coffee, walk around, shoot, do whatever. You should do a scuffed version with the original sketch as limited run. Oh man. Loving the mock-up. Keen to collaborate. All right, dude. Yeah, let's talk about it. You might come to the meetup as well, yeah? And I know you want to pick up that negative supply gear at some point. We can organize that separately if you want, because it's a bit heavy to carry around. Coffees and cameras and cardio. Let's make it happen. Yeah. So that's in reference, if anyone's curious, to one of the videos I put out on my personal channel. I spoke about some fitness stuff and cardio, and like I guess that's what was on my mind, because I've been trying to go to the gym more. And you know, this might have come to mind along that same time, but I put out a video on my personal channel talking about my fitness goals for 2023 and how I'm trying to do more cardio, because my whole life I've hated cardio, never really done much of it or played kind of team sports for heavy amounts of time, and in my recent years found I would get like out of breath pretty quickly. So I spoke about that. I did a video on that on my personal channel. In case anyone's interested, you can go check that out, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, so that's why I have a separate channel. But yeah, that's all I had, guys. If there is any other sorry, lost my English for a moment there. If anyone has any other suggestions or questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will finish this mug of AeroPress and end this live stream soon. Thanks for all the support, by the way. Always appreciate it. I was thinking it would be funny to go back on one of these live streams and look at some of the early videos on the channel and have a laugh at them together. Kind of look at where things were and where they've gotten to. Not that there's been a huge change. Obviously, the production quality has been the main thing, and some of our confidence on the camera, especially when it was like me and Nick back then, and especially mine. Like, really, I have never been someone who enjoys speaking on camera, but it's gotten better. It's gotten easier with repetition, and it was really hard at first, but now it's like I don't really think about it too much. I just do it. Cool. What have we been doing so far? 39 minutes. All right. That's not bad. Again, if anyone has any other questions or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I think the next video on the channel will be probably by the weekend. I want to see if I can finish producing it and then schedule it to go up on the weekend. Yeah, we'll see. I would like to have done 2 videos because there's some other stuff I need to prioritize as well with work around then. But yeah, I want to try and at least do a few more videos before New Zealand. All right, guys. Seeing as there's no questions or anything, I think I'll just take the opportunity to sum things up there and remind you to check out the Discord meetups channel if you're here in Melbourne and you're keen on coming for that. Again, hopefully the weather's good, but even if it's not, maybe we'll just go ahead anyway and do kind of like a mostly indoor thing, just to kind of a sit down catch up. We have done that before and it's been fine. So yeah, by the way, Anthony, thanks for the support as usual, man. I know you probably just jumped on towards the end here, but I just want to say thanks again. And thanks to everyone. So hope you've all been well. Hope you're happy shooting, developing, processing, whatever you can afford to keep doing still with film. And yeah, I appreciate all your support on the channel here, on the other channel, on Instagram, on whatever. And I'll speak to you all soon. Yep, can't wait for the meetup too. We'll see you all on the weekend, whoever's coming to that. And I hope you all have a good King's birthday. All right. Bye, guys.